So I had got this book on the list due to a recommendation I read on essentially LinkedIn. I forgot the name of the guy or the person who recommended it. Uh, since I was looking, or I've been looking at the business acquisitions part. If you guys seen it before, people like Alex Hermosi and Cody Sanchez and somebody else I was talking to who is good friends with Cody who kind of, was talking to me about business acquisitions, or at least, you know, more like a limited partner, me investing in his business acquisitions. But then various reasons, I decided, if I'm going to get into anything that I need to have knowledge and actually have some hands-on. I still have my full-time job, so I don't want to, quit that and do full-time something else. So that means I need to understand. But at the same time, I don't want to blindly invest. We'll learn a few lessons about that. Couple of investments gone bad. One was kind of like a passive e-commerce investment and real estate. Both went bad. Both, one was, I think the person wasn't very truthful. The other one, the e-commerce, it's what it is. Basically, the person I was working with, he was helpless. So long story short, I'll realize, okay, no more doing any investments without having knowledge in what I'm doing or trying to be a passive investor. At least at this point, maybe in the future I'll get into passive. There's probably some real estate investment. I still will do passive when the chance arises, and then I feel pretty confident about it. Never say never, right? But the main thing I learned from this book is the whole thing is flipped. For any real estate investor, if you read this, right, or heck, even if you think your home is an investment, if you just start comparing the numbers to buy a business that cash flows really well versus a down payment, that's what he starts with, by the way. Essentially, Walker starts with that example, like what's it, cost to buy a business, nice cash flowing $1 million revenue business, essentially about $1 million revenue business versus buying a house, an average house, versus although the average house now is worth more than when it wrote. So I guess it's even cheaper to buy a business than buy even an average house with a 10%, 20% down payment, whatever you're going to call it. But the bottom line is, obviously, running a business is not easy. You got to have a good idea, good team, and all that stuff, especially mentality. One of the things, that's what he talks about, like, trying to put down all the criteria on your strengths to see what businesses you can get into, buy. Now, he gets into more of buying for yourself. Personally, like I said, I'm not looking to buy a business, go full-time right now. That's not my intention, but I do have an interest in being essentially mostly kind of like a owner investing, having a cash flow there. At the same time, I still, want to do my IT job. So for now, anyway, I don't know where the IT world is going. Who the heck knows when the IT world is going to shift upside down based on the AI or not. I don't know. It's going to shift, but better to be prepared than be sorry with investment up. And so you're essentially financially free. Anyway, I'm rambling about that. But the main thing about this book is if you are looking into buying businesses and don't have much idea on where to start, highly, highly recommend reading this book and understanding the basics, fundamentals of evaluating a business, the process, the steps to go through in buying a business, and how not so complicated it can be if you do the right things and if you have the right mindset and all. There's still a lot of self-development you have to do, self-awareness you have to do if you want to buy a business. Because even if it's a cash flowing business, if you don't know what you're doing and if you don't not doing the right things, then you can run down the business and lose the money, essentially, right? So that's still a risk factor. So in the sense, like real estate, bit more less risky if you do the numbers right initially. So usually you don't end up losing money. So that's the balance. But the upside is more with the business than with the real estate, essentially. So it's a kind of a, yin and yang, right? Everything it balances out, right? Money versus the risk. But like I said, if you're looking to buy businesses or looking very interested about buying businesses, this is a must read, I think, to start off. There are multiple other books. Seems like I'm reading other books, which I'll be sharing in the future about buying businesses or turning around businesses, because I'm just curious, right? When the opportunity presents itself, maybe, I want to jump in, or I'm looking to jump in, but not full time, like I said, right now. Maybe future, if it kind of, that's where I end up with, then that's where I end up with. But right now, still working on my W-2, as long as it works well for me, right? Anyway, highly recommend reading this book, Buy Then Build by Walker Deibel. So